things. One of my things is true crime.
Yeah.
Okay. And one of the things that these, and I'm not saying it's to this extreme, but it's a narcissist playbook, is to distance yourself. And somehow the narcissists seem to be committing crimes. I don't, a lot of narcissists, not saying that narcissists are criminals, just that criminals tend to be narcissists. It's a thing. But the thing is that, one of the constant things that you hear in these true crime podcasts is how, they disappeared. Like, they didn't like them being close to their family for some reason. Their victims didn't like them being close to their family.
Well, yeah. The less people around them, the less trouble they have controlling you.
Exactly.
And the less they have people around to validate those gaslit moments.
Yeah.
Because I know, and I'm sorry for bringing this up on your behalf, but Jay had an ex that, I don't like your dad. I don't like your mom. You really should. They're really not treating you well. Even if they were or not, you just need to stop talking to them.
Yeah. So it's one of those things, if they're trying to isolate you, that big, big, big red flag. And of course, if
people around you
yeah.
are noticing that you're not the same, and they ask you, hey, is everything okay?
And they're constantly
your
asking
spirit
that.
seems dim, or your light has diminished, or things like that. Those are all red flags.
Mm-hmm. And then, again, like we said at the beginning, it doesn't mean people can't change.
But it's also not up to you as to whether or not they change. And it's not, you can't change them. Right. They have to change on their own.
They have to make the decision to change on their own.
People can grow. They totally can.
Yeah.
We've seen it. We've done it.
Oh, yeah.
I've done it myself, honestly.
I have.
And again, this is validation from Crow and from Jay that I have made serious progress in therapy and with medication.
Yeah.
For depression and for other things.
Yeah.
Just that, again, like I said, it doesn't mean that people can't change. It just means that they have to be willing to change.
Some of us have a hard time marking time. It's kind of like, give me a little bit of time to change. I'm not going to change overnight.
No,
well, of course you can't.
Change.
Nobody can change overnight. No. But bringing that up is kind of a red flag on the apology. Well, I can't change overnight.
Well, no, but it's been 5 years and you still haven't.
And that's where it comes to. At some points, you've got to recheck back into the situation and say, okay, have they been making an effort, or is there always a somewhat plausible reason why they can't?
Yeah. Now, the
I'm
key
too
word,
stressed.
The key word is plausible.
Yeah. I've been too stressed. You know how busy we've been? I can't focus on this change that I need to make right now.
Oh, because this thing happened, and now I can't do this because this was so horrible. You can't expect me to change on top of dealing with this too. There's always a thing.
There's always an excuse.
Everybody can make an excuse, or you can make yourself better.
Right. Excuses are like assholes. Everybody has one, and most of them stink.
And I want to qualify what I just said. You have to make yourself better. Zan didn't stop at making himself better. He needed very important, life-saving medication to help him get there. And that's one of the things that, like, it's okay if if your change requires some extra help from outside, don't sit there and think, well, I can't change on my own, so I'm stuck here.
All right. I admitted I could not change on my own, that I needed some extra help.
People get help when they need to change. Don't think, if somebody's been with the same therapist for 15 years or 5 years and they've never gotten any better, they're not going to.
And at the same time, a therapist can become an enabler. Mm-hmm. That is a thing. It is a thing because they are comfortable with that therapist. Mm-hmm. And they have learned how to manipulate that therapist.
Right. At some point, sometimes you can be talking to even a professional and learn what to say. Exactly. Learn what they need. And I got to tell you, narcissists especially are extremely adept at finding out what people want to hear.
Oh, yeah.
So once they've hit those hot buttons with somebody, they know they can hit them again. And they know they can get that reaction again. And they know they can do a thing again. And they don't care what the actual truth is. They just want the conversation to pass.
Now, I have to admit something. And take this as you will. And our audience will take this as you will. But I can manipulate conversations. And I'm good at it. because of the fact that I had a job that my job was to manipulate conversations to gain information and how to use it against them. I was a private investigator. I had to do that for a living.
Zan is seriously kind of cool. Just so everybody knows, Zan is actually really, really cool.
I really beg to differ. But during that job, I had to get information from people, to find people that were trying to hide.
Right.
So my job skill was to let me lie to this person so I can gain information. And that's what I had to do. Also, I could not break the law doing it. So you had to be creative in doing it. So it's just one of those things. I had to manipulate people to gain information. It's that simple. But learning that, you also learn how people do that. And then when people are doing that in front of you, you're like,
I know what that technique is.
I know what they just did.
I saw what you did there.
But I see it, and I'm about to call you out on it.
It's one of those things. And if you're going down this list and you feel seriously called out, I'm going to suggest that you genuinely get help.
Yes, please.
And if you're sitting there going, well, I've done that, and that's not a bad thing. Yes, it is. It totally is. It's a very bad thing. And don't feel guilty about it. Don't sit there obsessing about it. Don't beat yourself up about it. But understand that you are not stuck with you, and that you can actually decide, hey, this is where I am. This is where I'd like to be. How do I get there?
I would like to get better.
Yeah, but saying the words and doing the things are two different things.
Do the things. Don't just say the words. If if you ever find yourself just saying whatever you have to get through a conversation, it's done. If you notice your partner is just going to say whatever you want to hear to get through a conversation. If you have a child, obviously you can't just kick them out. If you have a child who is literally, you can tell they're just saying whatever they have to get you to stop lecturing them, to get you to stop talking about this, there is a problem. These are red flags. It's time for you, who are observing the red flag, to pay attention and start taking steps to protect yourself, to protect your loved ones, to cut your losses, to do whatever you need to do.
And this is with loved ones, including family, friends, and polycule.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Now, keep in mind, we're not suggesting that anybody has to be perfect.
Oh, God, no.
And there are red flags that will pop up. Even in the best people, you'll see a red flag now and then.
Something big that you should be aware of is if your partner or, soon-to-be partner or somebody you're considering as, a potential partner, and they start demanding that they have access to your phone, your email, and your Facebook, Twitter, etc., and they want your passwords and things like that. That is humongous.
Now, here's the thing. There's a difference between demanding that information and asking for that information. Like, hey, can I check something out? There's a difference between the two. Because honestly, I don't care if Jay has that stuff. I really don't. I'm not trying to hide anything.
Yeah. I've gone to unlock my phone and accidentally put Jay's password into my phone because I was so used to using her password to unlock a phone, because a lot of times we'll be riding in the car and she'll need me to unlock her phone and do a thing for her.
Yep.
Right. And so I just get used to typing it really quick and trying to open the phone. I'm sitting there going, okay, that didn't work. I was on my phone because I kept putting her password into it. A good, close polycule will share. Sharing things is almost inevitable in a close polycule. You'll share.
One password I'm almost tempted not to share is my Netflix password.
Never share the Netflix password. That will follow you forever.
But the things that we do share like that with each other are practical for everyday usage. Like we ride in the car a lot together. So instead of me texting and driving, I'm asking you, hey, could you unlock my phone and pull up Pandora or pull up directions to wherever we're going?
Or text this person and say this.
Yeah.
And that brings up about using Pandora. I do not judge you based on your lifestyle and practices. I judge you based on your music selection. Just saying.
They push your physical boundaries in innocent ways.
Oh.
What?
Can you expand on that one?
Yeah. So, like, say you tell them you really hate being tickled. And now all of a sudden they're trying to tickle you all the time. Constantly. That is something. Or you tell them that you don't like your ears being rubbed and they always go to your ears. I don't know.
That's a weird thing because, like, I don't like that. Well, why do you keep doing it?
Right. It's a weird thing, and a lot of times it's so little it's hard to make a big deal of it.
Right.
And that's the key to a lot of toxic relationships, is that the person who's being toxic will have plausible reasons to do it. They'll have innocent reasons to do it. They'll have forgivable reasons to do it, and it's always your fault.
Well, another thing is that if they like doing something and you don't, but they like to do that to you because they like it. Mm-hmm. It's like, I really don't like when you do that, but, well, I like it. You should too. No, I shouldn't, because I just told you I don't.
Right.
Stop.
That kind of goes into sex drive.
Oh, God,
if
yes.
their sex drive is completely different than yours, and if you are into different things, if you're not able to find some sort of compromise or find things that you enjoy really doing together and mutually respect each other enough to respect boundaries in that area, then that is a humongous thing.
Yeah, and that'll be another episode we're going to have, is polycule and sexual
mismatch.
Sexual mismatch. Yeah, when it comes to sex drive and everything else. That is a huge topic that we can talk about.
Another thing is you need to watch and see how their attitude is. Ooh. Are they exhibiting signs of
manic
depression or mania? And even if it's not been diagnosed or labeled as that, but yet I have a perfect example. I had an ex who would put me on a pedestal to everyone else. And then when shit hit the fan, I was the worst thing that ever happened since molded bread. And, I would be blamed for any and everything when we're at home. So when they were out in public and they were singing my praises and telling everyone how amazing and magnificent I was, and even if they did it at home, I couldn't believe it. Like, how it leaves you feeling, how are you supposed to feel about that?
Right, if they're making you feel wonderful in one spot and then, like, all of a sudden
completely
it's like
degrading and cutting you down the next.
Yeah.
That's abuse.
Yeah, and the thing is that if somebody is constantly cutting you down for this or for that, even if it's minor stuff, if it's there's
calling you names,
right? There's a joking way to do it, and then but if the joking is no longer joking, then there's a problem.
I guess another thing would be is if they're keeping secrets.
Oh yeah.
If they're super secretive about little things, imagine what the big things are.
Right. Yeah. And that's huge, because I don't keep secrets. I have no reason to from Jay or from Crow. If I'm talking to somebody, whether it's a friend, a coworker, or whatever, it's like, hey, what was that about? Oh, no, that blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
because I don't feel like I need to hide anything.
Right. If they are incapable of actually apologizing,
ooh, that's a good one. If it's
an enormous red flag.
If they apologize that you feel a certain way,
oh my God,
about it.
I'm sorry you're sad. Yeah.
Right. I'm sorry you're sad, or I'm sorry you're upset about that. That's not an apology. That's them saying, well, it's really on you instead. You're feeling that way is really inconvenient to me.
Yeah.
Like, I did this because, hey, I like doing it.
And I really don't care about how you feel about it, but I am sorry you're feeling that way.
Right. It's like, inconvenient to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Or if they apologize and they do it in Spanish, because they can't bring themselves to actually apologize in English.
In a language you can understand.
Yeah.
Because that was a thing. That was seriously, I can't believe that was a thing. But it was a thing. It was a thing.
Have you ever looked back on a relationship and said, was I drunk the entire fucking time?
Yeah, pretty much.
Was I absolutely out of my head?
Yeah.
What was wrong with me that I couldn't see these obvious red flags?
And honestly, one of the difficult questions I had to answer in therapy was, what made you ignore all the red flags?
What indeed?
And when you start trying to find an answer, it's like, Was I love struck? Was I just infatuated? Was I just ignoring all the stuff? What the hell was going through my head at that time? Because goddamn, I have